Hi guys, so I've come on this evening, I'm going to be honest with you, I've really struggled to sleep in tonight. I have actually for the last couple of nights, and I thought actually, given the fact that I'm up and about, I thought I'd come on and do a tarot reading. Now, I know the last reading that I did prior to putting up astrology and stuff, I had to be very careful, and I'm going to be very honest. I have to be a little bit mindful because a couple of my posts have been taken down, which is why they haven't appeared through some things that obviously have been a little bit censored. I'm not allowed to mention certain things. So I'm going to keep this very much from now on in, more so probably relationship based readings. I will bring in some other things if I can and hope my posts stay up. But obviously sometimes I might fudge around with things, and you've got to read between the lines of what I'm saying to kind of make sense of what I'm putting out, okay? Just to try and clear that up. I'm going to be honest, the next few weeks with the astrology are very, very complicated, and there are going to be some very, again, contradictory energies that are going to be going around. So a lot could be misinformation, information that's coming towards you that may be clouded, things it could be from media, on what side of fences, kind of like media, propaganda, things like that are coming at us. It can be things like gossip, people saying things, checking facts, making sure what people are saying, what information is coming towards you is factual, okay? Not just reading or buying into what necessarily other people are saying. Okay, what agendas have people got? There can be a very manipulative aspect around people kind of trying to get things out of situations for themselves. We are going through at the moment a Saturn square Uranus, Saturn going into Aquarius. This is a very almost, how can I say, alien energy, okay? It's a very unusual energy. Aquarius is, or Uranus energy is very unpredictable. It's when we think about science, okay, independent thinking, different ways of looking or doing things, very aloof, very detached, okay. When we think about an Aquarian individual, they are an individual. They like to do things on their own. They can be, you can know them, but they like to go off, okay? There's a distance, a detachment generally with some Aquarian people, okay? I know that's a very stereotypical thing to say, but that is what generally this energy is about. It's about collectively, but being an individual within, okay? So an individual within a group, your way of seeing things, your way of expressing things, your ways of doing things out of the norm, okay? Now, I said to you before about with this Saturn going between Capricorn and Aquarius, okay? Now, as I said, with Capricorn, we had the luxury to a degree where, as a collective, we were all united in the fact we're going through the same experience, okay? There was an element of structure about it, okay? We didn't want to conform necessarily, but we were doing it for the greater good. Now that we've got Saturn squaring, okay, this Uranus energy, the Aquarian element, where it's going in and out, but will predominantly be in the sign of Aquarius. This is all about, like I say, not necessarily all of the positive attributes that Aquarius brings, okay? There are some positives, but there are also some detrimental aspects to this, because this is about coming out of conformity. This is about shake-ups, breakups. This is almost like, for those of you that know the tarot deck, it would be the tarot card symbolising the Tower. Okay, now oddly enough, I've got a load of cards, and I am going to take a photo of these cards that I've got here to show you what also came out within this tarot reading, coinciding with what I'm going to be explaining to you. And I was I wasn't very surprised, so I'm quite glad how the cards have come out, because it's all actually very accurate in what I'm saying to you around the astrology base here. Okay, the tarot card of this is your potential for sudden change, enlightenment and awakening. Okay, so this is about like suddenly all of us coming into a realization. I also mentioned about Mercury going retrograde, okay, where we're going back over cycles. Okay, we're reviewing where we have been before, the paths we have taken, where we've got to, where we are now. Okay, what has brought us to this place? What is it that we're going to be looking back over and thinking about, okay, this is a positive out of this, or actually I don't feel particularly very positive about it, but my life has changed significantly and I've got to work with what I've got. Okay, now this can be also not just individually that you're looking at your life, it's how others are impacting or have affected, or what you're going through at this precise moment, where you need to be pulling back, going towards, or completely restructuring where you're going to be taking yourself, and maybe or maybe not certain individuals going forward with you. Okay, now within this we've got to look at other individuals around us, because although we're looking at ourselves and how we're being affected, it's also how others are going to affect, or we are going to affect other people, because we are all going through stuff at the moment. Whichever way we look at it, there are going to be other people that are going to be erratic. We may be pretty cool with how things are, but we're dealing with the fallout of other people's lives. Okay, so whichever way we look at stuff at the moment, there is an element of unpredictability. Now, going into the next few weeks, there is going to be even more uncertainty and unpredictability, I'm afraid to say. Okay, we've got Mars in Aries here, okay, which is, I mentioned this before about being where people are getting frustrated. Okay, there are going to be those that are doing quite well at the moment within this energy. If you deal with it and you can kind of detach yourself away, you can compartmentalize certain things. Okay, but even within that instance, I'd probably be saying you would still be going through certain shake-ups or things around you that aren't so straightforward, because we're dealing with a collective, other people. Okay, and this is what I'm kind of going back to. The shake-ups that are going to be going around at the moment, even though we may feel there is a dead cert, somewhere along the line we are going to be taken off course, and that's okay if we can kind of like see, by looking over what's gone on previously to where we are now, okay, and try to look at this within a positive aspect. Now, for some, this is going to be very difficult, okay, because it is almost like we're going to be starting from the ground up. Okay, I think a lot of people are going to be starting from the ground up in some area of their life over the next month, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, now I'm going to try and I'm going to bring in some of this astrology stuff, but I'm going to concentrate on these cards, because I was kind of like taken aback in some of this, how this is much more based around relationship areas here than anything else. And in all honesty, although our work and our finances are going to be a massive big situation here, I do feel there is an element where relationships, be that with colleagues, our friends, or our one-on-ones, are going to be going through some pretty testing times at the minute. As I said, our overall card, all right, was this Uranus energy, okay, which is very, very fitting with what I was talking about, where suddenly information is going to come in pretty quickly, okay, and maybe knock you off course. You weren't expecting it, okay, one way or another. This brings us on to the two cards that also came out, which were also about mirroring, okay. Reflection and non-judgment. Now, I'll go back to this Aquarian, this Uranus energy, okay. When things don't go well, we end up sitting there and looking at ourselves, asking ourselves, where did we go wrong? Or one of you taking accountability, okay, of a situation that has broken down. Now, at the moment, this is about obviously looking at ourselves as individuals and taking accountability of our own actions, how we see things, how are we verbalizing things, what's brought us up to this situation, what's brought it all to a head. Now, the thing is, I feel like, as I said, we have this Mercury retrograde, all right, which is reviewing, going over. Now, it could be that at this same time somebody's left your life, coming back up into the next couple of weeks, around the 20th, we come out of this Mercury retrograde. It could be that somebody then comes back. If you've been in a situation, okay, where you're constantly taking accountability, maybe you're the individual that is having the finger always pointed at them that it's your fault. Maybe you've been going around the same scenario continually, the same cycle with a certain individual, be it on any level, work, friendship, one-on-one, okay? It could be family. And nothing ever changes. This is an element now where we go to this reflection and non-judgment about it cannot just be just one individual within this cycle that needs to change, okay? Or is it worth continuing on in this cycle, okay? This is where we've got to start looking about moving forward. Now, this Uranus energy is going to be coming in different aspects in different people's lives in different ways, okay? Where if something isn't working, why are you trying to keep fixing it, okay? Why are we still going around in this same cycle? It's coming in to completely reform and completely change. As we all know, even after the coronavirus, if we are coming out of a lockdown, things start being built back up again, things are still not going to be the same, and they're never going to revert back because too many things have happened. And this is the same things when we're looking at within these energies, especially within these cards and with the astrology, and I'll be going into more of that. I'm going to put a different video up about this over the next few weeks, about how we are going to be realistic and looking at how we are going to detach with this Aquarian energy, okay, as individuals, to reform and restructure, not in the old way, but in a new way, about moving forward, breaking cycles, breaking away, okay? Now, this leads me to go on to, we've got this Taurus. So the moon is going to be in Taurus, okay, all right? But this very stubborn energy, okay, again, with this card, the Chariot card here, which is all about moving forward, okay? Determination and self-control, career advancement, acknowledgement of a success by others. We don't need to be looking for permission. We don't need to be looking for acceptance from other people. That is not what an Aquarian energy is about. This is about being individual, okay? This is about self-realization. This is about our confidence. This is about trusting ourselves to make the decisions, best decisions for ourselves, okay? About as best as we can to detach from situations that are not good that are no longer good for us, okay, and moving away, okay, from situations that no longer serve us, okay. So this is about the great good. This is about, okay, how can we change things in a positive way moving forward, okay, with self-control, not entering into this volatile, this Mars Aries energy, okay, where we could be entering into a lot of volatility. One of the other things about Uranus energy is unpredictability. The Mars in Aries, okay, the Moon in Taurus can bring around a lot of stubborn, a lot of fighting energy, a lot of energy where people don't want to move away from things. They want to keep things as they are, okay. They're not prepared to actually make any changes anywhere, okay. It can be all about where people are going to be manipulative. It can be about stirring the pot, okay. It can be about preventing other people from breaking out of patterns and cycles where somebody else is actually now going, do you know what, I want to go off and do my own thing. Somebody else refusing, okay, or doing things in a not constructive way, just to be difficult, okay, causing issues around stuff. So this is all about actually taking time out now to reflect. Are people changing? Is it good for you? Are the situations around you, are they conducive? Are they people that you want to be around anymore, okay? These are some of the energies that are going to be coming up. We've got here a hell of a lot about freeing yourself, separation, pulling back or moving out of stuck cycles, stuck situations, changing things, okay, not allowing situations to keep you stuck in a rut, allowing somebody to be maybe manipulating you mentally, emotionally, physically, trying to sell you something, keeping you in cycles because you don't feel like you have enough self-worth or are able to break out of things. Now, I'm going to bring this on to not just, as I say, about relationships that could be toxic in that sense. It could be time now where actually through lockdown processes that there could be children involved in these situations where they're wanting to break out. Maybe it's too stifling at home at the moment, okay. Maybe there's not enough room at home and one of the kids wants to move out. It could be that actually it's come to the point where actually it's not practical to have the children there for whatever reason. There could be family arguments, things taking place, and it could be the fact that maybe somebody needs to start stepping up and helping, or ultimatums are going around here, okay, which would make sense in terms of if you've been spending the last year or so within that scenario. There are situations here where things can be resolved, okay, as long as actually there are going to be boundaries, new ways of doing things, okay, actually not allowing situations to keep festering. Something needs to give, because there is, okay, like I'm saying, this volatility that could start coming up and coming into play. It may be the prime opportunity actually for some people to actually start thinking about financially, is this viable? Can we do something? Is there help around for somebody to be able to move out or go their own way? It could be here as well where relationships are breaking down and somebody needs somewhere to stay. They may want to go back to the family home. We've got a lot of support here and around about detaching away from situations that are no longer good. They're certainly not harmonious, and actually finding solutions, okay, for the sole intentions and purposes for personal growth within an individual and around a family here, okay. especially around people growing up or being given the space, opportunity to start actually growing up and stepping into their own and paving the way for a more independent future. Okay, now this could be as well as maybe universities. We know schools are going to go back. Maybe this could be setting a precedence here where children are starting to think about how they can start paving the way back, going back to maybe looking for nearer October, November time, going into more towards next year, about actually starting to look at what they're going to be doing in terms of university placements, things like that. That's something that maybe start coming onto the table here around grants, things around their living accommodation. That might start being coming into conversations that may start being taken place. What we've got here more than anything is about fresh starts. Okay, individuals looking at themselves now and realizing that actually we've gone full circle now, we've gone throughout this cycle, things do need to start changing. Putting yourself as number one priority. Maybe it could be actually we're starting the fact that you've got a partnership, you want to actually start a brand new relationship. Okay, and this is about actually my children have more grown up now, can start making more independent choices for me and my partner. A new relationship has come into play. You're starting to look at things about actually this is my time now. Starting to look at more gearing up towards your own finances, about what you're going to do going towards the middle of this year, going towards next year. We're going to start making provisions. We're going to start having those conversations. We start going to be looking at actually where other people need to be more independent on their own now, start growing up. I'm going to be looking at what me and my partner, me and my wife, me and my husband, whatever it might be, or me just independently, how I'm going to start reviewing my finances, building up my future on my own. What we do have here is some very, even though on the negative aspects here, with this Uranus energy, some really positive aspects featured for relationships as well. Okay, about maybe where you've managed now to pull out some difficult cycles, okay, from the past, okay, and you've been reviewing maybe or looking very much so internally about where things may have gone wrong in previous relationships, taking ownership for yourself, okay, and starting to look at you know, how you want to do relationships differently this time round. Okay, we've got some really lovely starts here, new beginnings, or maybe rebooting relationships. Like I said, clearing out some of this old stuff, the residual stuff from the past, giving yourself an opportunity. Now you're seeing things a little bit differently. Maybe this has given a lot of reflection, pause for reflection, about how you feel about things. We've got a lot of forgiving and healing here, okay, and I think this is a review, a reflection, or will be a review and a reflection of the past with the situations that we're going through at the moment with this Mercury retrograde energy. And I think again, more hits coming in, different things coming onto the table, things that we're going to be hearing about how to do things differently, is going to give a lot of people a lot of reflection about how they want to be working, how they want to be doing things, how they want to be living. Maybe some of it isn't free will, maybe it's just the circumstances have changed that way, but will give you a very different perspective about the relationships that you're wanting around you and those that you're going to want to go on forwards and build alongside. Okay, we've got positive new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. And I think this is what I'm sort of saying. There's going to be some jolts. There's going to be a lot of pause for thought. Maybe some people have, as I say, have come out of relationships. Maybe unexpectedly new relationships have come in. Whichever way, what I'm going to be saying to you, okay, again, we've got this transformational area of your life. It's about shared resources and intense emotions, okay. I think this is going to be now all in, all out, make or break, okay. I think a lot of people now have made the decisions about whether they're going to completely come out. It's just about actually realising that you're not going to be the first, you're not going to be the last person that has gone through some very, very difficult times, okay, but there is light on the other side. If you give yourself that opportunity to come out of a difficult, there's always that support. Even if it's a friendship, if it's moving out, moving back home, it might be the last thing that you're wanting to do, but it will give you that stepping stone, that breathing space to realise actually you can do it, and there are things that you can put into place to make that transition easier for you if you give yourself that opportunity. This is the prime opportunity now, okay, especially with this Uranus energy. If you can actually do it by your own free will, this isn't going to come in and completely go, excuse my language, tits up, okay. You will get the opportunity here now to change things and transform it completely. If there are areas here where this is a new relationship and things have been going really well, this has got all the hallmarks to go from strength to strength, especially if you're thinking about collaborating with somebody else. This is just about complete honesty, transparency. What do you want? What don't you want? You probably know what you're wanting. You're probably actually seeing that, especially this has been over the last 6 months. It could be longer term than that, okay, where you can actually start seeing a vision about moving forward. This is just about now kind of like getting to the nitty gritty, talking about things like your finances, talking about things about what your expectations are, where those boundaries are, what you'd like to be doing, actually speaking about what your goals, ambitions, dreams, what your future as much as you can will look like with that individual. The more clarity, honesty that you've got now, and it comes from truth and sincerity, the better that this is going to be transitional going forward. Because relationships that take off now that are based on truth, honesty, communication, where you can actually see that there is growth within that, you are compatible. I've got everything here to be building on a secure and solid base. Those relationships that have struggled, I would say let them go, okay. This is about time now for you to be focusing on individually yourself, building yourself up, focusing on your finances and your security and building that up. Like I said, the next 2 weeks are going to be some very, very interesting transitional, some completely out of left field revelations that are going to be coming in. There are going to be some real shockers, and I think this is going to be around friendships. It's going to be around your work colleagues. It could be reforms around your work. It could be completely restructuring all of that. There are going to be some, I would say, at times you're going to hear things that you'll just be completely blown away by. And there will be some complete behaviour from people that you would not ordinarily be expecting. There could also be some very shocked truths that come out from nowhere as well. Now, I was saying this is from Wednesday, so this is like Tuesday night, going into Wednesday. As say, this energy is not about structure as we know it. This is now about rebuilding your structure on those things that you know are a sure bet. So anything that's offered to you that is something that you know that you can run with, opportunities that you've got, I would take them, okay. And I would start, if you know that something is right, go with it. If you know there's something is wrong, stay away from it. This is a complete make or break, like I said. Now, when it comes to relationships, this is about, as I say, moving forward with those relationships that that you know are solid and reliable. But I would still say to you, there are going to be some things that are going to come in, or you're going to hear about, that is going to be a little bit of a shock horror. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do another video where I'm going to explain some more about this energy that we've got coming in, okay, over the next few weeks. But I'd say this is going to definitively play out over the next, I'd say, definitely month. So I would give this a timeline, okay, of a month. But I would say to those people, those of you that are in relationships that are no good, and especially those that you view that could be in physical harm, I would get yourself out there and I would start trying to pave your way. Even though you think you can't do that, this is coming in for a purpose. This is giving you a get out of jail free card. Now, if you've got people around you that can support you, give you somewhere to go, you go back to your parents, you've got a safe house, something like that, these are the opportunities now, I would say, to take them and go. And I would say start looking forward now to building yourself on a solid structure. Even though it might be from ground zero, building back up, but it'll be the best thing that you ever did. Trust me on that one. Those of you, as I said, that are in some really good positive relationships, some very good places, start building on them, keep them near and dear to your heart, and start doing the work. And this should pay off. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.